Hello again, DIY friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on a GE gas oven that is having some issues with the temperature inside the oven. Apparently the temperature inside the oven is not in sync with what the brains of the oven think that it actually is. You can turn the oven on to about 350 to preheat it, and the light goes off and the chime chimes saying, hey, I'm ready, let's start baking, but the inside of the oven is actually up to almost 100 degrees less than what the oven is set at. So today we're going to go take the easiest route and put a new temperature sensor inside the oven. It's located, and all ovens have these by the way, somewhere inside the oven is a sensor or probe of some sort that's going to tell the brains of the oven what the temperature is inside, so it knows to cycle it off and on and maintain the temperature that you have it set at. This information was easy enough to find. Every oven or appliance somewhere has a tag on it that says the serial and the model number, most importantly. This GE oven happens to have it down here. So what we did was we got the model number and we went online and did some research. A great place I like to use is called appliancepros.com. They're in no way affiliated with me or a sponsor, but I just think they run a great business and I love what they do. They've got the complete schematics for every appliance you can imagine on there. You can look and see what's involved, and they even have some great how-to videos, which I'm sure you can appreciate, on how to fix these things yourself. So I went on appliancepros.com, used that tag with the model number to see what is involved with fixing this thing, and I was able to find the temperature sensor, genuine GE part, on their website and order it. For about the cost of a couple of lattes at Starbucks, we can put this part in and see if it solves our problem. Hopefully it does, because if it doesn't, then we're going to have to move on to something bigger, like the control board in the appliance. And I'm hoping that's not it. But this is a common failure, and I'm hopeful that this is going to fix it. So stay tuned and come along for the ride, and we'll see if it works. So hang in there. All right, pardon the light that's right on your face here, but the sensor is right on the top side of this light right here. It's just got 2 screws in it, and it's literally a metal probe that sticks out inside the oven. Here's what it looks like. It's a metal probe, has 2 screws right here, and right behind it, when you pull this out, when you take it out, you're gonna expose an electrical connector where you can unplug it and plug the new one in. So what we're gonna do is just take out those 2 screws, get the temperature sensor out, and then additionally what I'm going to do, just to be cautious, is when I pull this out and expose the wire that comes from behind the wall there, I'm going to disconnect this and I'm going to tape the wire to the back wall just to make sure that little connector doesn't fall back into the back of the oven. That's going to open up a whole can of worms that you don't want to have to deal with. So I'm just going to be safe and tape that once I get the sensor out. So let's go ahead and give it a try. One little screw, it's a 1/4 inch nut driver. Second screw. And guess what? The wire just doesn't pull out of the back like I expected it would. So we're gonna have to get in a little deeper and take a look and see how we can get to it. Hold on. All right, so as luck would have it, which is bad luck today, we're not able to actually pull this wire through and get to that connector like some of the other ones that you can do that are very easy. So that means, and also taking off the back of this oven is going to be really convoluted and really tricky, and involves disassembling that fan. I really don't want to get into that. So what we decided to do, since you can see that connector is high and on the left side of the back of the oven, we did go ahead and just pull the oven out. And then once you get there, all we have to do is remove this back panel here, because we can physically look through here and see the plug is right here. So we got a bunch of screws to get this panel off, but we can get to it very easily once we remove that. So that's what we're going to do. On this side. Let's give her a wiggle and see if she giggle. This is up under here. This is come up off of that.
Oh,
there
yeah.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Ah, all right. And there it is right here. There's our patient.
There it is.
Right there.
There it is.
All right, Dad, why don't you feed the new one into me? I'll take this off. And you can pull that out now. That plug has to fit through there, right? That's the only way this thing is getting out of there. Go inside the oven and just pull it out. Oh, you're gonna, yeah, you got it. Yeah, feed the new one to me. So my dad's gonna pull the old one out and feed the new plug into me so we can hook it up.
Yeah, it's hitting.
Okay. Take some of the tape and tape it onto the end of my nut driver, and I'll try to pull it through with the nut driver. Nice having an assistant this time. So the problem we're having is it's two walls here, and we can't push the plug through from the one side because it goes through and then it curves and it won't go straight enough to push through where this insulation is out the back. The wire is just too frail to force it to go through. So we're gonna have to put this through, tape onto it, and then pull the plug out the back.
Okay, just pull it slightly and I'll try to push it from.
Okay, here we go. I'll pull it while you push. Got it. Bingo, look at that. Worked like a charm. My dad taped it to the end of the nut driver and we just pulled it right through. So here's the lead from our new temperature sensor. We'll plug it in and we'll put this thing back together. It's the right one, which is always good. Okay, great. That's good with that. We got to put this cover back on now. I'm on slow speed on my drill. I got the torque setting set to only 1, so we're not going to destroy anything here. Putting this thing back together. I'm not snugging them all the way down yet either. Just kind of getting them started. Oh, here's a dumb thing I'm doing right there. That's why it doesn't feel like it's sitting down right. Hey, let's get the power cord out of the way, dummy. Yeah, you too can do it yourself and destroy your oven. Oh, that's too much. That's not even the right hole. There you go. She's all buttoned up. Let's hope this thing works now. Okay, so we got that back panel all buttoned up. We came back inside. We put this light back in. We thought we could maybe take the light out and reach behind there and get that. That turned to be not possible. So what we decided to do, well, we did what we did, and now we, as you can see, there's just 2 screws here that we had to put that probe back in, and it's all back and installed now. So we're going to slide the oven back, and we're going to actually test the temperature now. So wish us luck. All right, so we got the oven on and working. We set our bake temperature to 350 degrees. We have a ThermalWorks monitor inside the oven. This is showing me it's 105, 106 degrees in there right now, and it's climbing. These ThermalWorks are actually calibrated, really nice thermometers. You can depend on them. It's good quality equipment, and I trust that this is really quite accurate. So we're just going to wait now and see what the temperature is actually in the oven when it says it reaches 350 degrees. So stay tuned. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the oven just turned back on, and it's 345 degrees. Maybe 344. What it's doing is it's cycling from about 344, 343 up to 350. So I think what we're going to do is bump the oven temperature controls up about 3 degrees. So it goes just a few degrees over 350 and then maybe 3 or 4 degrees below. Instead of letting it get all the way down to 343 or 45, it's running right up to 350 and then it shuts off. I'd rather have it cycle with 350 kind of in the middle of the range instead of at the top of the range. So let's see if we can figure out how to set that next. So what we did when you weren't looking was we added 3 degrees to the set temperature of the oven, and all we had to do on this particular GE model, and I'll leave the model number in the description below if you're curious, but was to press and hold this bake and broil buttons at the same time for 2 seconds, and then the little number of letters SF appeared in the display. You can press bake again once to put it in plus mode, or press it twice to go into negative mode. So once the SF appeared, we press bake, and I pressed 03 and start. And what that did was that set the internal thermometer inside the control unit to be 3 degrees higher than it normally would. So now what the oven is doing in real temperature is it's cycling, instead of cycling between about 342 and 350, Now it's cycling between 347 and 352, which is a nice range. It's just basically got that 350 setting right in the middle of the range, because the oven's going to swing about 5 degrees normally. It's a gas oven, and it's got to light it and go back off and on to maintain temperature. So I think we've got it. We've solved our problem, thankfully, with just a probe. So there you have it. So that's a wrap for today's project. Thankfully, it was nothing more than a simple temperature sensor inside the oven that, well, it came disconnected from the oven fairly easily, but unfortunately, it became an opportunity to clean behind the oven as well. While we were back there, it had been a lot of years since we'd cleaned, so we got to clean back there as well. Not really hard to do, just kind of labor intensive. But anyway, for the cost of a couple of lattes at Starbucks, we got ourselves the part needed, and we fixed it ourselves in about an hour. Probably maybe a little bit longer, because we're talking with you folks and moving cameras around. But my estimation is if we had called an appliance repair company, they're going to charge you about an hour's labor just to show up and say hello, there's $100. You can probably pay about an hour's worth of labor for the man or woman to be here fixing the appliance, and then you'll pay for parts. I'm guessing this would have been somewhere around $250 to have an appliance person do it for you. But with a little bit of ingenuity, looking at things and thinking how they work, you can do it yourself. So that would be my advice to you. Until next time, do it yourself.